So I'm here with Raufeon Stots after such an amazing performance against Magomed Magomedov. I mean, even before we get into the fight, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your life heading into it, because I kind of noticed from the Hill fight to the Magomedov fight, you had just had a lot going on in your own life outside of fighting. So just quickly talk to us about all that.
Yeah, man. So I was in the process. So even like before the Hill fight, it's like all a jumble now. I had a baby. I sold our previous house in Wisconsin. We're in the process of moving to Nebraska. So we're in the process of looking for houses. So in the meantime, we moved to Nebraska to kind of have some help with my wife's family, Michaela's family. And so we were like pretty much homeless for a couple of days, but we were just like staying with her family and looking for a house kind of online, but also, training. And then before the Hill fight, I think we were going through, Michaela was pregnant and she was getting ready to have a baby. And so we were like going through all that and going through also because we was getting ready to, I think, sell a house around that time. So we had I had a lot going on before the Hill fight, but this fight was even more just because I had to like travel for camps. So like within this camp, I traveled, so we traveled to Nebraska kind of to get like stay at her parents' house and until we found a house in Texas, and also so the kids can spend the summer and the grandparents can spend time together. So we did that. And then I had to travel to Milwaukee for camp. Turns out the fight got pushed back 2 weeks. I was there 2 weeks earlier than I wanted to be there, away from my family. So like the day I got to Milwaukee, I drove back to Nebraska. I also went to Colorado in the meantime and trained with Corey Sanhagen. and then since the fight was like moved back, also I had my brother's wedding that I had to be a part of.
Just stop for it.
Yeah. I also had to move. I move usually the house. I usually move all the stuff myself. I used to work at a moving company part-time, to make ends meet while I was fighting. So I usually move all the stuff myself. So, I packed all the stuff into a pod, but I was planning to pack the stuff out of the pod like after the fight. But now a lot of, since the fight was moved back 2 weeks, everything that I had planned to do after the fight, I pretty much had to do in the camp. So my brother's wedding, unpacking stuff to our house, buying a house and moving our stuff into the house, and like moving our life to Texas, or making a drive actually to Texas. So what was that, August 1st or something? I had to drive from Milwaukee in camp to Nebraska. So I drove to Nebraska 7 hours to pick up my family, Michaela and the two boys. Then me and Michaela drove in separate cars to Texas, which was like 14 hours. So we got there. And once I got there, I had like 3 days pretty much to focus on my brother's wedding. And so I was trying to train, in the meantime, discipline and training. But I had to get suits and attend, functions and things for the wedding, and as well as try to train. And as soon as the wedding was over, like that night of the reception, I flew back to Milwaukee and, so I can continue training. So I did a lot of traveling. A lot of people were saying oh man, this is too much to this is the biggest fight of your life and you got the most going on in your life. But I took the mindset going into it, kind of like how I look at life. Like, no matter what my circumstances are, I won't find excuses to lose. I'm gonna find excuses to win. And, everything, if it's an obstacle, I look at it as an opportunity to be better and prove, how great I am. So, no matter what's going on, my coach even, had to, take time and go to other people's, kind of limited on our coaches. We got 2 really great coaches, but we got a high elite team. So we had to go to Manny's fight. He was like, yeah, man, I'll be gone. And then I got to do, stuff for his fight. And I'm like, Cause you know, me, it don't matter. Like whether y'all here or not, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make a win happen. You know, that's what I do best. So yeah, so that was kind of my mindset. You know, that's kind of my mindset in life and my mindset, you know, for this fight especially.
Yeah, it's funny because like I can literally hear the echo in the house and look behind you. It's like you still have to furnish everything. Like you know, but I can clearly tell you're like in an open home right now. And it takes me.
So the thing too.
Yeah.
I've like there's been so many. Should I go outside?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm enjoying it. You sound great. So you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like within this camp, like there's been so many things, you know, that's been going, like it's too many to name, but two of which is like the pod, they have my wrong email down. So I thought the pod would be in Houston by now, but it wasn't, you know, so like we just kept going back and forth with the pod people to get my stuff. Like I still haven't got my stuff. I was supposed to get it on the 1st. And then when I got, when I was traveling for fight week, I actually, I missed my connecting flight to Connecticut. So at 9 o'clock at night, I had to drive pretty much, I had to drive like 4 hours to Connecticut to make it to like fight week. But like after I got the rental car, it was like 10:30. So I drove there, I get there around 2 maybe. But the airport is like an hour away from the casino. So I had to drive to the airport and get my bag because my bag flew. When I got there, the baggage claim wasn't open. They said they wasn't open till 8 in the morning. So I'm there at like 2 o'clock or whatever. So they were like, but if you wait around, maybe the attendants will let you in or something. And I'm like, okay. So I wait till like 3, and then somebody comes and I'm like, can you let me downstairs? She's like, oh no, I don't have the key, but maybe the manager has the keys, and they come here at 5. So I'm waiting at the airport till like 5 o'clock. And then luckily the supervisor ended up coming. So then I get my bag and stuff, and then I don't get to my hotel room till like 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, after like driving all night. So it's just like a bunch of stuff like that has been happening to me, and I'm just having to like roll with it and you know, just find a way and, you know, let it roll off my shoulders. Roll with the punches, as they say. Right?
And I feel like that's something you got to do more often than not. But it's so funny, man. I don't even know you like that. But every time I hear you speak, I'm just like, this man has gone through something else every single time. And it actually takes me back to a moment where I'll never forget this, because I've been watching combat sports. You know, I'm a huge diehard sports fan. I even wore my diehard Green Bay Packers hat just for you. But it's just I think I even messaged you, but the press conference after the Hill fight, I mean, to listen to someone tell that story, but then have such a big, happy-go-lucky, you know, attitude about it all. I mean, that's something that resonates well with me just as a non-fighting person with just having to deal with, you know, the trials and tribulations. So where do you get that energy? I know you have a crazy close relationship with your wife, and you talk about how that's really just such fuel for you. But is there anything else, or is that really where it comes from?
You know what? I think I get it from my mom.
Okay.
And because there's a story that sticks into my head of my mom, you know, before she passed. So it was this day, it had to been like the worst day of my mom's life. That morning, our lights were cut off, and we had no lights in the house, you know, throughout the day. She didn't let it bother her. We went to school, everything was fine. And then that night, you know, we had to go to Bible study or something like that. And I could just tell she was like having a bad day. We run out of gas. We run out of gas. And then like we had to like push the car to a gas station, and we get to the gas station. She gets gas. But the whole time, you know, go home, she like bags up, but she bags up like into a pole, like into a pole behind us. And then at this and my brothers are looking at it, like this got to be the final straw, you know what I mean? But like she just like busts out laughing, like she just like laughs, like she can't do nothing else. She just like laughs, and she's like when we're all at that point, we just like we don't know like why we laughing or whatever. But she's like laughing, but you know, like that I feel like really resonated with me because I feel like she was at wit's end, like with everything, but she just like there's no point in her like being mad or crying about the situation. She's just gonna laugh it off and, you know, find a way to make what she needs to happen, you know what I mean? So I feel like I get it from my mom, you know, because my mom had been through a lot more, I feel like, even than me, you know. She set me up better than she was set up, you know. Her mom was on drugs. She had me at an early age. I think underage, she had me at like 17. She had to do a lot of stuff for herself and dig herself out of a really big happy, like she's happy. So I think I get it from her.
Yeah, I mean, the attitude that you bring to the table is just so amazing, and you really come off like this family guy. And you know, I'm kind of that older guy now who's now kind of redabbling in this world of media and stuff. It's okay because like you were telling such a good story about your mom, and it's like I didn't even want to cut you off because you're telling it so well, but it came out pretty well. So I'll just pick up right there from when I was leaving off. But yeah, you know, I just feel like you're such a great family guy, and even being as old as I am, you know, having kids around, and you know, they're probably going to catch a few glimpses of fights here and there. You're the guy that I want my kid to be looking up to. I talked to you a little bit about Jose Shorty Torres, who's a guy I've actually talked to a couple of times. Yeah. You know, if my son was to watch fights as a young man, or if he was to catch it, those are the guys I kind of want him seeing, both before, after, during, whatever it might be. So what is it about that, you know, being in the fight game and being the guy who you are and not changing and maintaining that? What is it that does that for some of you guys?
The fight game or MMA is just kind of my job, you know, but my life is my family, you know what I mean? Like I've made mixed martial arts a big part of my life, just because I feel like that's the best way to succeed, you know. You have to live it. You can't like half foot in, or 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You gotta be like all in with it, or you won't. It's a brutal game. It's an unforgiving game. So you have to be committed to it. But outside of that, you know, I'm for the rest of my life, I'm only a mixed martial artist for like a short time in my life. So I'll try to make it the best of it. But the rest of my life, I'm gonna be a father. The rest of my life, I'm going to be, you know, a family man. And at the end of the day, I want my kids to be able to talk about me like I talk about my mom. You know what I mean? I want them to have, you know, I want them to have something at the end of the day, and I want them to have, you know, reassurance that, you know, he did everything for me, and he believes in me, and he, you know, he did everything he could to make me happy. So that's what I want, you know. So, and that's why it hurts me, like going away for camps, you know, because I feel like I'm missing out on like crucial parts of their lives and stuff, you know. So that's like tough, but I'm doing it like for a reason, you know. But I want them to know that at the end of the day, I want them to know.
Yeah, and so that kind of takes me a bit more to this question. I mean, you can be an open book or keep it close to the chest if you'd like, but we just talked about the move to Houston, and I know your commitment to Milwaukee, and I know what that, you know, camp with Coach Duke, what all that means to you. So in the back of your mind, is it like, you know, I might have to find a camp at least part-time here so I can spend time with the family, still get the training in without having to travel so much? Because I feel like closer to fight time, 100% is a good chance you're over there. But is that in the back of your mind right now?
Yeah, that's definitely in the back of my mind. And that's why I chose the gym I chose, because the little time I spent with them, I feel like they have a good like atmosphere, and they're committed and things like that. So I mean, I'm trying to find a place that I can like because even like still, like I'm supposed to take a week off. I have to train. I have to like get better, you know what I mean? But I gotta find a place that will like sustain me growing and things like that. So I'm definitely looking for a gym, you know what I mean? At the very least part-time, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, my wife would love it if I would, you know, not have to travel, you know, for fights. And it definitely makes it like I see the benefits of doing it, because it makes me a little hungrier. It makes me a little more primal. It makes me I have a little more rest. I can get more training, things like that. But it's it's not fun. It's not fun to like train away from my family if I can't go home and mess with Clarence or my wife, or cuddle with the baby, you know what I mean? So it definitely makes it harder. Like I can see where it'd be beneficial, but it's just not fun.
Totally. And it's funny because we'll get into the Sergio reason in a second here, but let's get into the fight business a little bit. So, we talked about leading out of the Hill fight, going into the Magomedov fight. So funny story. I mean, I looked at my bro-in-law. He's diehard just like me, knows the fight game to a T. And I'm like, exact words, it is absolutely criminal that Raufeon is a plus 300 dog right now. So first question, I mean, I know fighters could care less about the numbers and stuff like that, but when you look at a number like that, don't you think to yourself like, hey, I might as well just go put 10K on myself right now because I'm going to come out winning and there's a fat check waiting for me. You did it, eh? Did you do it?
Bro, I did put money on myself. But everybody that I knew, I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but we about to take advantage.
Yes, sir.
Bet. Everybody I know, I was telling the bet. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I've never been an underdog. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in my fights, and to be that big, like I was like, bro, this is a blessing. You know what I mean? Like we gotta take advantage of this. You know what I mean? While we can. So, because it's gonna be hard for me to be one now. This was like the chance for me to be one. So, yeah. And I took it as a little bit of disrespect. I didn't think I should. I mean, people thought, or they just underestimated me. I think so much, and I don't want to say they overestimated Magomed, because he's like really good, against everybody he faced. But I'm a different animal. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I had to show him that, and I'm glad it happened the way it did, because I feel like if people did respect me so much or didn't hold him as high as they held him, you know what I mean, I wouldn't kind of have come out or look like I come out so dominantly, you know what I mean? So I'm happy about it.
It's funny because I could literally make that my life in this sport, but I honestly have zero passion. I care more about the fighters, care more about watching it. That's just kind of the part and parcel of being so invested in this. And so for me, watching you, it's like I'm telling myself, like, I love underdog stories, but I just never saw you as such a massive underdog. And so I'm there being like, yo, I told them, like, why are they discounting USA Wrestling so much?
Bro.
Like, what's going on there? So yeah, go ahead.
I just learned how to do a double leg or something. Like I ain't been doing this. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because your movement there was there, your speed was there, and it's just so funny because the diehards know about that relationship with Kamaru. The funny pic you just put up of you, Izzy, and him. I mean, like we know about that relationship. And for me, in the back of my mind, I kind of almost want to ask you, do you think that maybe Khabib and that style of wrestling may have been overrated now as a kind of a grouping of sorts? Do you think that might be happening as a whole?
And I'm the first to say, I feel like, so American wrestling is really good. The thing with American wrestling is it's not suited to MMA like Sambo is. So I feel like his wrestling or Sambo as like a ski or a sport, Sambo as a wrestling discipline is better suited for MMA because they have takedowns, they got punches, they got throws, you know what I mean? So it's like, and they got a bit of jujitsu. They go to the ground for a bit, you know what I mean? So that, like for me, I feel like Sambo is better suited toward MMA. Where I feel like I was able to capitalize is me like knowing that, like I understand that they're better suited, but I know why. I know the when and the why and the how they're better. So I'm able to attack those things and I'm able to decipher what they need and what I need to stop. You know what I mean? So what I stop.
Yeah, you were just sorry. I think that you were kind of making a really great point of how you personally feel like Sambo is so well suited for MMA, but knowing that and the way you approach your training camp, the way you approach the fight, it seemed like that was your game plan, was to make sure that didn't outsmart you.
Since I know how good Sambo is, I know what they need, and I know kind of what they their positives and negatives are. So I know what I need to attack. You know what I mean? So I believe Sambo wrestling is better suited for MMA over American wrestling. But I also, you know, I stole a lot of stuff from Khabib, and I steal a lot of stuff from Magomed, Josh Hill. You know what I mean? So my overall understanding of wrestling or grappling as a whole, I feel like is what won me those exchanges.
100%, because I can even think back to the end of the first round just off the top of my head. I mean, I can only imagine how much your confidence skyrocketed, because I thought from the get-go your timing was on point, and I think you already had the striking advantage in my personal opinion, and I think that's Coach Duke with how long you've been there. I mean, it showed, man. It showed very naturally, in my opinion, footwork, striking. But yeah, you did it so quickly, man. I just thought that you really swung that fight a lot quicker than anybody else would have probably thought. Did you feel that confidence at the end of the first?
I think too, like just me like deciphering like what he thought about me. He felt like, I mean, he bought into the hype, and not the hype. He bought into himself, and he bought into him being like that much better than me, you know? And I feel like when I stuffed his takedowns and when I took him down, his whole mind like shift, like he wasn't ready for this type of fight. I can see it in his face, you know? And yeah, so I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to make him the most uncomfortable. Everybody I'm fighting, I'm making them the most uncomfortable I can. And that's why I'm trying to be good everywhere, so I can decipher what tools I want to use in a fight.
How easy do you think it would be for you to go 5 rounds? Because personally, after watching that fight, I think you could go without question. Like without question. Yeah. No, you could have probably fight 2 fights right there. So.
Yeah, I've won 5 rounds before, and I usually go like 4 or 5. You know, in the gym is different, but I'm very because of the striking and you know how I approach it. I'm very I know how to be. I know when to conserve. I know when to kind of go. You know, so I'm and my cardio is. There's not a lot of people that like hang, you know, in the later rounds with me. So, yeah, I'm very confident I can go 5 rounds.
Yeah, you look prime, man. Like that. I could think back to the end of that fight, be like, that guy just worked, and you were not breathing hard, man. You just were not. You were not.
I wasn't. And so I wasn't. And I'm also like, if it did go 5 rounds, I'm more than comfortable or more than confident that I'd be able to win. I'm not opposed to fighting Magomed again. I don't know how, you know, how he feels about it, but I don't think he really wants to smoke with me, you know, again. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with it. If it would have went 10 rounds, I'm gonna come out on top.
100%. I really believe if there was a pound for pound list of just fighters in general, you would definitely be in that conversation without question. And so that leads me into one more thing about Bellator, if we kind of move on quickly, but you have been really manifesting this Grand Prix tournament, and I really think that there's a chance now, because of maybe they want to showcase that Sergio, you know, that potential Sergio fight even more with all of the hoopla they can build. I mean, it's looking like, you know, from maybe just an idea to, I think you are the big reason behind that.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'm happy to see it, you know, because when I first signed to Bellator, that's what I've been like. That was one of the reasons, you know, I signed, you know, not only the $1 million tournament or the $1 million prize at the end, but also like the tournament style. Like I like that it's nothing else kind of involved, but like the next best man goes forward. The next best man goes forward. So, you know, that's something I've been manifesting like since I started. In Bellator. Like,
it's crazy to hear someone just bring it up.
Yeah, another bantamweight. Hey, let's do this tournament. Yeah,
and the one thing you've been very open about, it's like you're not shying away from anybody. Like if you could line bodies up, whether there was a Grand Prix or not, you're down and just take everybody out until you get to Sergio, take the belt, and keep moving, right?
Exactly, because that's another thing too. Like I want to fight like all these. I want to fight every one of them. You know. If they make it to top 10, like I want to fight them. You know what I mean? Just that's just who I am. Like I'm not afraid of anybody, and I want to prove myself against everybody. I feel like I'm the best, so I want to prove myself. You know what I mean? So the tournament, I feel like, is the best chance at me doing that. You know what I mean?
100%. And so that actually takes me into a question I had specifically for you, because from a quality perspective, from a skills perspective, I put you very high up there, like I said, on a pound for pound level. And you touched on this sometime during, like, I don't know if it was Instagram, an interview or anything, but you very much pointed out how it was a choice. You know, Bellator is a choice. there is very much a shtick right now with the UFC and everything that's happening, contract talks, all that stuff. You seem to have a pretty vocal opinion on that. Would you care to elaborate a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, I chose Bellator because now I seen where like they were headed as a company, and I seen kind of where they took interest in their fighters. You know what I mean? I do not like UFC. You know, is a company, and they make that very known. You know what I mean? They just, I feel like, let go of like Kai Kamaka. You know, I know him very well. He put his career on the line for them maybe 3 times, taking a short notice fight, you know, saving cards for them. And he's had very close fights. You could say he's 3-1, you know. A lot of controversial decisions. He had a draw. He's had like performance bonuses, and they just cut him. You know what I mean? Like, so I just don't feel like they care, or it's just very apparent that they don't care. You know what I mean? So so that's another reason, you know, why I went to I chose Bellator, because before or what was it, right before the COVID or something, I mean, I just know a lot of, and I don't want to share personal information about people, but I've you know, I've experienced them, you know, just demonstrating with money that they care. You know what I mean? They putting, you know, dollars behind stuff to let people know that they care.
And so it almost seems like, no worries, it almost just seems like there's the chase for exposure and this glitz and glamour versus treatment. And it seems like a lot of fighters who either experience the treatment or have anecdotes from other fighters, they kind of make the, I guess, grown-up decision, because even as a family man, things like that, like, that's not something you probably want to deal with right now.
Exactly. And that's for me, I am like, I don't care, to be honest with you. I don't even care about, like, for me, okay, I know that I'm the best in the world. I don't really care that the whole world regards me as the best in the world. Like, for me, being the best in the world is just for me to know that I'm the best in the world. My family, you know, my people around me. I feel like a lot of people fight for the UFC just because it's the UFC, you know what I mean? Because it's regarded as the best promotion, you know what I mean? And they have the most exposure. They have the better, or they have the deeper roster. They have the more, you know, more people wanting to get them, because they got a lot of exposure. But for me, I'm like, that exposure ain't gonna pay my bills. That exposure ain't gonna, you know what I mean? People thinking that I'm the best, or a lot more people thinking that I'm the best, ain't gonna put more dollars in my pocket, you know what I mean? Like, immediately, I guess, for sponsorships and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, you know what I mean? I hold a lot of like inside, you know, integrity. Like, if I can, like, I don't need it from everybody. I just don't, you know. That's just not how I'm wired.
And I think that's fighters' mentality to the fullest, because I think when you really kind of assess fighters that maybe do care a lot about what's happening around them, I feel like they're the ones that you kind of hear more of those mental health issues, things that kind of get in the way of their fights without it being skill or anything coach related, you know? So, I mean, easily, I think if there was advice to young fighters up and coming, there's no better person to talk to right now than Raufeon Stots, you know what I'm saying? And,
you know, I feel like I first developed kind of this appreciation for like, not the, I went wrestling. I was offered like scholarships pretty much from some of the D1 schools. You know, I went to Division II. But I chose Division II because they paid like all of my tuition. Like I was gonna get the most out of them. Like, I don't like, yeah, it's cool to go to like a big university, but like, I went to somebody who's gonna pay for my, you know, college, or pay for my college, so I won't have, you know, bills after, you know what I mean? So like, that's, I feel like, where I first developed, but it could be also, you know, where I'm from, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get out of, get my family out of poverty. That's my, like, my goal, like, to get me and the people around me out of poverty. So all the like hoopla and stuff, like, it don't really matter to me. Like, the numbers matter to me.
And to be honest, it really just seems like it's coming from a mentality of focusing on the now. And when you kind of focus on what's to come or what could happen if I go to the UFC or if I go G1, that's all, potential. But like, I got an offer right now that's going to make my life a hell of a lot easier and better, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Amazing, man. And so, just to kind of finish off, I do like to do these rapid fire questions. And I kind of mentioned how for me, it's just like getting to know you guys and really putting that kind of out there. And so just some quick questions for you to kind of rip off some answers and we'll see how it goes. All right. So
yes, sir.
Favorite career moment in MMA?
Oh man, this might be it. That might I had them in the choke and they were chanting USA, USA. I thought in my mind like, wow, this is epic. You know what I mean? So that might be it.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. Favorite music before a fight?
Oh, 2 Chainz. All day.
All right, love it.
Yeah.
Favorite meal after a fight?
After fight, jambalaya.
Attaboy. Favorite sport other than MMA?
Probably, I'll say football.
All right. Do you support any teams?
I support obviously the Houston Texans and Green Bay.
Attaboy. Love it. Favorite TV show? Could be current, could be old.
Man, I like Dave. I've been watching
Dave. Dave is so great. Yeah. That second season's coming, so I kind of been saving it for a good time. That is my favorite show right now. All right, we'll finish it off. Favorite movie of all time?
All time, All About the Benjamins.
I love it. Oh my God. These are some of the best answers. Oh, absolutely beautiful. It's been amazing talking to you, man. I mean, hopefully we get to catch up sometime soon, but as always, I really appreciate that time. And, I'm definitely rooting for you, as you can tell.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, brother.
All right. We'll talk soon. Take care, Raufeon.
Talk soon, brother.
Bye.
All right.